Hey Booktube, welcome to my channel. My name is Shaquanna and I am a teacher, hence Reading with the Teacher. So I wanted to invite you guys to come on a journey with me to the world of literature. See you soon. Alright, so I have not been tagged because this is my first video for this channel. So welcome to my channel, guys. Again, my name is Shaquanna. I am a teacher. I teach English 2, which is 10th grade literature. And I have another YouTube channel called For Her Real Review, which looks at movies and TV shows and things of that nature. But I really wanted to get on here and start a Booktube channel that hopefully would be appropriate for some of my students to follow, as well as to encourage myself to dive right in and to read more. So welcome. I hope you guys will enjoy. So let's go ahead and dig in. So I am, of course, gathering these NewbieTag questions from the Booktubers fandom. All right, so let's begin. Why did I start this channel? So I'm starting this channel because I one, am very new, very new to Booktube. I have never really thought to explore YouTube as a reference point for the books that I read, and happen to be using it more as a tool more recently to find information about writers and people who were writing their first novels, trying to write more stories, and happened to find my way to Francia Simone's page, hey girl, and was really inspired because of something she said, which was just to start reading more. And I, had been trying to read more in my day-to-day life. I typically read a great deal during the school year, but a lot of that is literature that I'm reading to teach my students and not for pleasure. And in years past, I'd read a lot. And then more recently, as a mother of 2 very rambunctious boys, I just haven't had an opportunity to read. So I said, you know what, to encourage myself to read more, to encourage myself to explore more literature that fits into the genre that I want to be writing in, and also to be able to read more, to recommend text to students, I'm going to start a Booktube page or channel. That way I'll have some accountability. So spoiler alert, you guys are here simply to keep me motivated and honest. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? I have seen, and I'm sure that there are tons of Booktubers that actually are teachers. I've seen a couple of Booktubers that are middle grade, elementary Booktubers. Side note, since finding Booktube in the past month, I have done like a deep dive, and so please comment below if you'd like me to follow your channel. I've been like swimming in an abyss of Booktube, which is not a bad thing at all, but I've seen a lot of those, and being that I teach high school, I think I'll bring, my goal is to bring the perspective of both how I view a text for myself, for pleasure and for my own enjoyment and entertainment, how I would perceive using it in the classroom, maybe as a recommendation to students for their independent reading, or if I could use the text as a means of teaching a particular literary skill. So that's my unique take that I think I can bring. Also, the fact that I tend to read more YA and new adult books, but despite my youthful glow, I'm actually in my now late 30s. Shh, don't tell anybody. What are you most excited about for this channel? Just the conversation. As a mom, I'm very busy and I don't often get a chance to speak with other people about literatures. I don't belong to a book group. So I'm looking for conversation in the comments. Tell me what you guys think about the books. Ask me questions. We can do Q&As. I'm just looking for opportunities to engage and interact. And also, I would love to hear and have opportunity for even my students to chime in and say whether or not they've taken a recommendation, whether it's something that I recommended inspired them or to other young people. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Why do I love reading? Gosh. I have been a reader forever. I mean, as long as I can remember, like at least since I remember third grade was when it really hit hard for me. Like I was reading Stephen King, which I probably should not have been in the third grade, being that I was only, I think, 7 at the time, 7 or 8. So yeah, there's that. But it's an escape, right? It's an escape as a chance to have experiences that you've never had. I don't do it to find commonality as much. So, but I mean, I do look for authenticity, but I want to look for those moments where I have to pause and say, God, what would I do in this moment? How would I feel? What would I do if this were me? And I love that escapism, which is why I love movies so much too. So what book or series got you into reading? Very heavy on the Stephen King. I think my first book by Stephen King that I read was, I feel like the first one that I tried to read was It, because at the point of third grade I had seen the original miniseries and loved it, and so wanted to kind of follow along with that. And then I was reading things like Needful Things. You should not be reading Needful Things. That's like a 4th grader. Don't, parents, just say no. But I was also reading like a lot of R.L. Stine and the Goosebumps series, but not just the Goosebumps series, but he had like a line of more of like YA novels that he teamed in, and I read a lot of those. I did read more lighthearted things like V.C. Andrews. I don't know that I would call V.C. Andrews lighthearted, but because it's dark, but yeah, more things like that. Sweet Valley High. I was really big into Little House on the Prairie because I loved this show growing up, and I'm an old head, and so I would watch all these classic shows that my mom would watch, and then if I found out they were based on a novel, I would go and read the novel and all of that stuff. So definitely Stephen King, V.C. Andrews, anything by like Louisa May Alcott, Anne of Green Gables, all of those things I fell in love with. More in the YA genre. Then what brought me back to reading, because I'd stopped for a while, was my best friend, one of my best friends, Darian, and he got me to read the Sookie Stackhouse books, and then from there, Hunger Games, I guess, and then from there, the Gone series by Michael Grant, and then the Unwind series by Neil Shusterman. And so that's kind of what got me back in the latter years, like from, I think that was probably around 2007 when I started picking back up reading again. And of course, Harry Potter, like hands down, Harry Potter. Thank you, J.K. Rowling, for Harry Potter. I appreciate that. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So I started watching Insane Reader. I think that's kind of how I found out about Booktube as like a thing, because I was watching Dylan is in Trouble, and he does movie reviews, and so then you get the little recommendation, like a lot of viewers of this also watch this, and so he had done this whole Divergent series about like why Divergent sucks, why Hunger Games doesn't suck, and so I watched that, and from there I got recommendations for like other booktubers. But Francia Simone, I found her page because I was looking for recommendations of like how to tweak things with my writing. And so some questions that I would have for some people like Francia Simone, for like the Novel Lush, just people that I love to follow, would be maybe not how they grew, because I really don't, I'm not in doing this to get a whole lot of subscribers, although, you know, I'll take whoever wants to come on board with me. But I think for Francia Simone, because she has kids, is how do you find time to do this? I fully anticipate during the summer having plenty of time for this, because I'm just teaching summer school. But during the school year, I will have to really be dedicated to this, because I am at school from like 6:45, 7 o'clock every day until like 4 or 5 o'clock with school and grading and my clubs that I advise and all of this different things. So just like, how do you find time? Yeah, that's it. What challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Again, time management, finding time to record where I don't have kids running around in the background screaming, because my kids they only know one speed, and that's go, and they know no chill, no chill at all. When did you start reading? Yeah, according to my mom, I've been reading forever. I was literally, there's a picture of me at like 1.5, 2 years old reading like the liner inserts of like albums and things like that in Reader's Digest. But I think when I remember reading the most, second grade, definitely like second grade, and going to like the Scholastic book fairs and getting some money and buying a book. I loved that. And where do I read? So for this channel, I am going to attempt to read more of these, go back old school, but I tend to read a lot on my phone and on my tablet, on my Kindle. The second book that I plan to review, which is Angie Thomas's On the Come Up, I actually downloaded the Audible and used my free Audible trial for that so that I could actually listen to it while I'm driving, because I got a trip this weekend. So there's that, but I prefer to read like in bed, late at night, last 2 hours. And it's not good because what will happen is I get in bed at like 8 o'clock, fall asleep, wake up in the middle of the night and read from like 12 to 2 and then be like dead tired the rest of the day. It's horrible. And then what kind of books do I like to read? I love fantasy. I'm also tackling this little baby right here because I was a big fan of the HBO series and was like, I need to just go ahead and read it. And I'm also trying to tackle some fantasy in my future. And this is not hard to read at all in terms of pacing, but just finding the time. And so then I'm not as far as I would like to be. But YA romance, fantasy, a lot of YA fantasy. Growing up, a lot of horror, but only Stephen King horror. Like I didn't really get into like the Dean Koontz thing. I did go through a phase of reading like a lot of like supernatural, spiritual, Christian horror, like Frank Peretti and stuff. But yeah, I like suspense stuff sometimes, but really I'm into like the YA fantasy / I don't even call it sci-fi because I don't really consider Unwind. Unwind would be more sci-fi, I guess, because it does deal with like technology, but with the Gone series, it's more fantasy. So more in like the YA fantasy romance type of lane is more my speed. Yeah. So yeah, those are like, that's my newbie tag. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys would like to see me do on this channel. If you find me, again, my name is Shaquanna. My friends call me Quanna, and so can you. My first video is going to be Everything by Nicola Yoon. So come back and see me again. Until next time, toodles.